Shirtless Bill here for another episode of Shirtless Bill. If my eyes look like I've been smoking some green material, I assure you that's not the case. I just got out of my infrared sauna and 45 minutes in there, and I kind of sweat a lot and my eyes turn a little red. But I was thinking while I was in there about the times that you find yourself in a situation where you're choosing between two options. So you have an option A and option B. A first case scenario, a second case. Man, the salt water on my eyes. In any case, what I was thinking about was when you find yourself in that situation, the first thing that you need to do is step back and say, why are these my two options? If these aren't two options that you created, if this is not you being in charge of your life, then what's option C? Come up with option C and D and E. But too often I see people just foolishly accept a choice between two things when they don't need to choose those two things. They're not restricted to those things in any way. But the moment you allow somebody else to determine the game that you're playing, the moment you let somebody else create those rules and you decide to operate within them, well, then you're playing their game. You've given them the power, and however it turns out, the best you can do is kind of whatever path they've laid out for you. Somebody's given you option A and B. Well, don't choose their A and B. Smile and say, I'll just go create my own. And we're not taught that enough times. The amount of time we sit just sitting in a desk, and I'm not talking about work, I'm talking about school. How many hours did you spend filling in a multiple choice test where the choices were provided by someone else? It's conditioned you to believe that given choices, you should choose from amongst them. And I disagree. If they're choices you like, go for it. If not, create your own options. This is where you hear sayings like you create your own luck. And more often than not, when you look at somebody who has the things that you want and you can't figure out why, it's because he's found out how to create his own options. He's found out basically how to direct his life, how to take responsibility for it. If you're living at the effect of someone else's choices, you're just going to get stuck with whatever those choices are. My dad used to tell me something to the effect of, you don't get what you're worth, you don't get what you deserve, you don't get those things. What you get is what you negotiate. And if you can't realize that when presented with an A or B choice, that you can either negotiate a third or come up with a third that doesn't even involve the person who's given you the choices to begin with, the moment you realize that, opportunities in life show up that didn't show up before, and then your entire life ends up looking different as a result. So play with that. Look around and see where somebody is shoehorning you into the path that they want you to take, and come up with your own path. You might enjoy it a little bit more than the one they've picked for you. Shirtless Bill, I'm out. Take care.